Hey guys, things are going to be a little different this episode. My good friend and co-host Joshua just graduated college. So it's a big congrats for him. Congrats, Josh, on graduating again. But he's taking a little time away from the show right now just to focus on his career and stuff like that. So it's just going to be me for the foreseeable future. Might have some guest hosts and stuff like that. I'm working on it, but I want to keep this gravy train going, as it were, and keep the ball rolling. So it's just gonna be me this episode. I'll try to keep it brief. I know I can talk a lot, and oh well, we'll just get right into it then. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of TERA CON Prime Time. My name is Jeremy. I am one of your hosts on this show, and I'm just gonna get right into it then. Season 3, Episode 8, Forgiveness. What a strong episode. I'm going to give it a nice solid 9 out of 10. I was not able to catch this one live, unfortunately, as I was with my parents for Mother's Day. So I was off celebrating that and didn't get to see the episode live. I have heard, little birdie has told me from the Discord that it was a good episode on the Discord. A lot of people happy with the episode and able to chat with people after the episode, crew members and stuff like that. Overall pleased with the episode. That's encouraging to hear. And it was a fantastic episode. I think this episode is going to go down as one of the best episodes of the season, if not the best episode of the season. And it's well deserved of that title. It's always been weird to me how we've been able to go from this slow, steady rise of progressively better and better episodes, and then we hit the middle of the season with episode 6, and then we're back on track with episode 7 and now episode 8. Really, what an incredible episode this was. Just starting off with Fox's funeral and the emotional weight that carries throughout the entire crew. Everyone's a bit upset about this, especially Ash, who ends up, sort of running off into the distance to go be alone and destroy some things and meet some sort of ethereal, shape-shifting, weird space form, as it were, called Evra, a self-named creature, which is an interesting thing to think about. But I think the big focus of this episode was the confrontation between Avocado and Gary. This was a very raw, intense moment. I mean, we've been consistently praising the show over the course of this season, and I think this really cements it for me, and I think a lot of fans, of how great this season is and just how improved it is, because the emotional vulnerability of both Olin and Coty, just amazing to watch and listen to. I mean, just sort of being able to replay it over and over again, and just not even watching it, just listening to their voices and how far they've come as voice actors, and really selling the emotion, as it were, is seriously impressive. We also had the little DadSpeed moment, as it were, Gary calling little Kato his son, and, the emotional just sort of rawness of Avocado explaining that he stole little Kato as a child after killing the royal Ventrexian family. So our ticking time bomb, as it were, has finally gone off and exploded in the form of the fight between Gary and Avocado. We finally have that payoff. We've been seeing a lot of these previews and stuff like that, season trailers and teasers and stuff like that have been alluding to this. We saw them fighting throughout all of this, and now we finally know why. It's because a lot's gone down. We had a team member get killed. We had the revelation that Avocado isn't little Kato's real father, and Gary sort of presenting himself as a father to little Kato, and he has an active investment in that boy's upbringing, as it were. So he wants little Kato protected, and now he kind of sees Avocado as a threat to the emotional well-being of little Kato, which is interesting to explore. Honestly, like, I think this really cements it for me how good this show can be at times. Not every show is perfect, but this this is why I've kept watching the show. This is why I kept watching the season, is for moments like this. Really strong moments like this. And speaking of, other strong moments during the episode of, little Kato having this send-off for Fox, this little tribute to him and his memory. Really touching, really emotional stuff, like clearly the crew is upset about this, Gary more so, more than anyone else, because, later on he has to attempt an apology to Ash and just, confront her in the sense that, he never meant to kill Fox. He wasn't acting out of his own free will at that point. He wasn't in control of his body because of the possession by Invictus. And so I think being able to sort of honor Fox's memory by, even with Quinn earlier in the season, being able to, just ask Gary asking his crewmates, please honor your loved ones by telling me about them, is very impactful. And clearly, that had affected Ash, and just being able to open up about Fox. We also got, over the course of the episode, just sort of more not necessarily backstory, but more chess pieces moving, as it were. The little Zoom call. Obviously, this was made during the pandemic because they're having a Zoom meeting in the middle of Final Space. But that joke aside, which was good, it was pretty funny. That joke being aside, it was just the chess pieces moving of Kevin Van Newton mostly being finished, it sounds like, with the teleport out of Final Space, and Tribor being notified that they're almost ready to leave Final Space as well, and his little resistance stuff going on too. Otherwise, the other big moment was, like I said earlier, just Ash sort of letting go of her anger, destroying planets and asteroids with Evra, and just sort of exploring her more wild side, as it were, her more emotionally charged side, like I said, letting out that anger, not dwelling on it, as it were. I'm sure she's still sort of, I don't think you could ever fully forgive somebody for what they did, and maybe that's just a little bias on my part. Can't speak for everyone, but I'm sure she still has deep down, a rumbling resentment, as it were, towards Gary, but she's at least willing to, in the moment of this episode, just sort of calm down and learn to process her emotions in a healthy way, and try to forgive Gary by having that sort of sit down session with him and talk to him, which is nice. It's that emotional sort of maturing of the character, the growth of the character, that's been really fun to explore and watch over the course of this show. Because like I've mentioned, I've never really cared for Ash, but now I kind of do. I still am not a big fan of hers, but watching this plot line happen with her and what that means for the rest of the team squad has been very interesting to watch, and has definitely kept me involved in the show. Yeah, I should really try to find somebody else to talk to with this. I don't necessarily like talking by myself. It's more fun to bounce ideas off of people. So I'll keep a lookout if you'd be interested in doing a little co-hosting for the rest of the season. My DMs are open. Let me know. But otherwise, Thank you for listening to another episode of TERA CON Prime Time. My name was Jeremy, and we'll see you in a future episode for Season 3, Episode 9, Hyper Transdimensional Bridge Rising. That is a mouthful. We'll see you later, guys. Enjoy.